The town of Lower Sauk Hill had exactly one rule that everybody followed without question. Never, ever order a pizza after dark from the little shop on Crooked Lane. The shop was called Mr. Pepperoni's Pizzeria, and it had been closed for as long as anyone could remember. Closed, but never empty. At night, a strange orange light flickered behind its dusty windows, and the smell of burnt cheese drifted down the street like a ghost looking for a place to sit down. Most kids crossed the road to avoid it. Most kids, but not Danny. Danny was the kind of kid who poked spiders with sticks just to see what they'd do, and who absolutely could not resist a locked door with a crooked "Do Not Enter" sign on it. "It's just an old pizza place," Danny told Auntie Marisol one Tuesday evening. "Probably just rats." "Rats don't make pizza," said Auntie Marisol, not looking up from her crossword. "Stay away from Crooked Lane, Danny. I mean it." Naturally, that was the exact moment Danny decided to go. That night, with a flashlight stuffed in one pocket and a slightly squashed granola bar in the other, Danny crept down Crooked Lane. The shop's sign swung gently, though there was no wind. The orange light flickered. And the door, which had been locked for 30 years, according to everyone in town, swung open with a soft, almost polite little creak, as if it had been expecting company. Inside, the pizzeria looked nothing like an abandoned building should. The tables were set. The ovens glowed cherry red. And standing behind the counter, tossing a ball of dough up toward the ceiling and catching it without even looking, was the strangest man Danny had ever seen. He wore a chef's hat 3 sizes too tall, which wobbled every time he moved. His apron was covered in 100 years of tomato sauce stains, shaped like tiny continents. His eyes were 2 different colors, one green, one the color of mozzarella, and his mustache twitched on its own, like it had opinions about things. "Welcome!" the man bellowed, so loudly that the menus on the wall rattled. "I am Mr. Pepperoni, and you, my friend, look hungry." "I'm not supposed to be here," Danny said, already backing toward the door. "Nonsense! Everyone is supposed to be hungry. It is the most natural feeling in the world, second only to the feeling of wanting more toppings." He slammed a fist on the counter, and 17 jars of unusual ingredients jumped an inch into the air and landed again, perfectly in place. Danny noticed the jars then. One said, "Whispering Basil." Another said, "Tears of a Sad Onion." A third, slightly cracked one, simply said, "Do not," with the rest of the label torn off. "What happened to this place?" Danny asked. "Everyone says it's cursed." Mr. Pepperoni's mustache drooped. For just a second, the wild grin on his face slipped, and something tired and lonely peeked out from underneath it. 30 years ago, he said, "I made the greatest pizza this town had ever tasted. The Lower Sauk Hill Pizza Festival. Top prize. I was this close." He held up 2 fingers nearly touching. "And then my rival, Chef Agostino Sourdoghetti, snuck into my kitchen the night before and swapped my secret ingredient for plain old ketchup." "Ketchup?" Danny gasped. Even a kid who liked poking spiders knew that ketchup on pizza was a crime against nature. "Ketchup," Mr. Pepperoni confirmed darkly. "I lost the contest. I lost my customers. I lost everything. And in my anger, my foolish, cheesy anger, I made a wish on the ancient pizza stone in my oven. I wished that no one who wronged me would ever leave my pizzeria satisfied again." "That's it? That's the curse?" "Unfortunately," Mr. Pepperoni sighed, "the ancient pizza stone is a bit literal. It didn't curse just my rival. It cursed everyone. Anyone who eats my pizza now gets side effects." "What kind of side effects?" As if on cue, the kitchen door swung open and out floated, yes, floated, a pizza box, drifting through the air like a slow, lazy ghost. It landed gently on the counter and popped open by itself. Inside was the most beautiful pizza Danny had ever seen. Golden cheese bubbling, pepperoni curled into little cups of grease, a crust so perfectly browned it looked painted by an artist. It smelled like a hug. "Go on," said Mr. Pepperoni. "Try a slice." Danny reached out, then stopped. "Wait, what happens if I eat it?" "Depends on the slice. Some people sprout tomato vines out of their ears for an afternoon. One fellow turned bright purple and could only speak in rhymes for a week. Another could only hop like a frog whenever someone said cheese. It wears off. Usually. Usually? 90% of the time. Mr. Pepperoni said this as though it were excellent news. Danny slowly pulled the hand back. No offense, but I think I'll skip dinner. The chef's face fell so dramatically that his absurd hat tipped sideways. Of course. No one ever wants my pizza. That's the whole tragedy, isn't it? He sat down on an overturned flour barrel, suddenly looking less like a wild wizard chef and more like a sad old man in a silly hat. 30 years and not one customer leaves happy. I just wanted someone to say it was the best pizza they'd ever had. That's all I ever wanted, even before the curse. Danny sat down across from him, carefully, on a stool, not the floating pizza box. Why don't you just break the curse? You don't break a wish made on the ancient pizza stone, Mr. Pepperoni said. You can only undo it the same way it was made, with a true pizza. One made without anger, without a single drop of revenge baked into the dough. I haven't made a pizza like that in 30 years. Every pizza I make now, some tiny part of me is still thinking about Augustino and his ketchup. The stone can taste it. The curse just keeps feeding on it. What's Augustino like, anyway? Danny asked. Mr. Pepperoni's mustache bristled at the name. Greasiest hands in the business. Wears a chef's coat so starched it could stand up on its own. Opened a fancy restaurant across town right after I closed. Charges $11 for a single olive and calls it artisanal. That sounds terrible. The next morning, Lower Sauk Hill woke up to find a new sign on Crooked Lane. Mr. Pepperoni's Pizzeria. Open daily, no curses, just cheese. Auntie Marisol was first through the door, mostly to find out where Dan. I think, Mr. Pepperoni said slowly, that you, Danny, are officially my very first satisfied customer in 30 years. Technically, you ate it, not me, Danny pointed out. Details, said Mr. Pepperoni, grinning his old wild grin again. Except now it didn't look quite so wild. It looked like the grin of someone who just remembered how to be happy. Now sit down. There's a whole pizza here, and absolutely no curse left to ruin it. The next morning, Lower Sauk Hill woke up to find a new sign on Crooked Lane. Mr. Pepperoni's Pizzeria. Open daily, no curses, just cheese. Auntie Marisol was first through the door, mostly to find out where Danny had snuck off to. She left 2 hours later, full and happy, refusing to admit the pizza had been the best she'd ever had. Though everyone noticed she went back for dinner that same evening. As for Danny, the secret stayed tucked away for weeks, right up until the day a new kid in town said, I heard that pizza place used to be haunted. It was, Danny said, smiling, but haunted places just need somebody brave enough to order dinner. There was one more visitor that week, though nobody saw him arrive. A tall man in a chef's coat so starched it rang like a bell, sniffing the air outside with great suspicion. Augustino Sourdughetti had heard his old rival was back in business, and he'd come ready with an insult. But the smell drifting out the door stopped him cold. It smelled like fresh basil and warm crust, like a pizza made by someone who wasn't angry anymore. Very quietly, so that absolutely nobody would ever be allowed to know about it, Augustino stepped inside and ordered a slice. He did not turn purple. He did not hop like a frog. He just closed his eyes, took a bite, and smiled like he meant it. It's good, he admitted, to no one in particular. Mr. Pepperoni said nothing. He just smiled back and slid an extra slice across the counter on the house. Some curses end with a battle. This one ended with a second helping.